I have no idea how the internet has changed the way my computer and my phones work. And I also have no idea, although I believe I need a new modem. So today's show is going to be different than what I had agreed to or published. I was going to talk about how to save, could be thousands of dollars in medical bills, medical expenses for medicine. But I don't know that I want to do that. But if someone wants to the information, let me know. What I really want to tell you about is for those of us who are paying taxes, I have to I have to set another camera up so I can see the comments because my screen on my computer is broken. Again, it's the third screen I've installed in this computer. It just any small little ding on the screen, it it disables the screen. All I see is blank stuff. So let me open up my cell phone so I can see the comments, if there are any comments. How would I do that? I would go to my home, go to my channel, and I would go to my videos, my live streams, and then press that button, and I should be able to see any comments that are on the screen. My power is at 5 minutes. I have to, my live streams. Okay, I have to tell you that. Okay, we can lower that. I have to tell you that. Yesterday was a long day for me. I could tell you, go through everything that I did yesterday, but I'll just go through the important stuff. So, without any notice at all, which is typical in the Philippines, a telephone number, an email address could be changed with no notice. Like, for instance, we have a water department, and now we haven't gotten any water during the day, in the daytime hours, for about 2 weeks. But at night, at 1 o'clock in the morning, we get water. But if you call up the water department, they tell you they're working on it, but they're not. And does the water department have a telephone number? No. They have no telephone number. You have to call up the post office, who don't answer their phone. The post office has a phone number. It's right next to the water department, but they don't answer the phone. So, if you're in Bohols and you want to talk to the water department in Panglao, in Poblacion, you have to call the Bureau of Tourism. The Bureau of Tourism. But they moved their office as well. It used to be you call the Bureau of Tourism. So now, in order to call up the water department, you have to call up the water department in Tagbilaran. And they will tell you they're working on it, but they're not. They'll give you a number to the water department that doesn't work. That's what they'll do. So you'll call that number, and they'll tell you that number does not exist. So when you call them back, those are landline numbers. Then when you call them back, you tell them that you need I can call Globe, so I wanted a Globe number. Well, they gave me a smart number. So when I checked it, it was smart. I had to call them back again. And then I finally got a Globe a Globe number. And that worked. Yay, 2 thumbs up. It only took 45 minutes to get a phone number, because in the Google directory there are numbers, but those numbers are from like 175 years ago. Before they invented phones, they made up numbers. So those numbers don't work. So I could give it to you. I could give it to you, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take the time out from my busy schedule. Now I can't even see the live chat. That's amazing. Okay, let's see if we could do it like that. Okay, chill chat. Remember, so nobody's watching, and there's nobody interested in the medicine, that information that I was going to give you, that I post. And not only that, the medicine information could save you easily. If you need medicine, easily I could save you $1,000 a year. So if it's worth something to you, I will give you that information. But it doesn't seem to be worth anything to anyone, for any of the people doing live streams. So I'll just talk about nothing for another hour, because it's raining out, and I'm good at that too. So moving back to the subject at hand, that's in the title. The Bureau of Internal Revenue, that used to be located next to the governor's hospital, is no longer at the governor's hospital. But when the last time I was there, they never said, there's no notice saying we will be moving soon. Our officers will be moving soon. Welcome to the Philippines. So I went to the city, and I went to the bank, and then I did some banking. And then after I did some banking, I washed my hands next to the museum. There's a public sink where you could put water on your head, or wash it, throw water on your shirt, or wash your hands and face. So I did that. And then I walked over to the corner of where the museum is, and I got on a tricycle because I was in a hurry and I didn't want to walk. It's only like 4 blocks, but I was in a hurry. So I tell the tricycle driver, bring me to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And I get in, I open up the door. This one's going to be a long one. Get ready I'm going to blah, blah, blah for an hour. So I open up the door to the tricycle, and I said to the fellow, you know where the tax office is? Yes. Yes, sir. I understand. Okay. So the first street, we're on the corner. He should have made a right, but he went straight. So I said, no, I want to go to the tax office. Yes, sir. We're going to the tax office. So I thought maybe could be possible that there's construction, because they were doing construction up around that way, and the one-way street is blocked. So he goes up 2 blocks. We right past the paint store, and he makes a left. And I said, no, sir, I want to go to the tax. Yes, sir, we're going to the tax office. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe they got the whole road shut down. And he heads what I believe would be north on the old road. And he passes BQ. And I said, sir, I want to go to the water department tax office. Yes, sir. We're going to the tax office. I said, yeah, but the tax office is that way. And he said, no, sir. The tax office is this way. So maybe I'm thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I was confused. he seemed like he knew where he wanted to go, but it wasn't where I wanted to go. And no matter, I wanted to go to the tax office because that's where I do my accounting. Scott Del Fuego. Michael is providing some insider information. Unlike the driver, many of those constantly taunting and disparaging Michael made the choice not to go straight. Thanks, Scott. So the driver heads up 3 blocks. I said, "Sir, I want to go." Sir, he finally spills the beans and says, "New tax office." So it took him 5 blocks to come up with the word new tax office. So I says, "Okay, Hinai, stop the, well, not Hinai, stop the tricycle." And then I said, "Sir, I wish to go to the old tax office," because I understood now what, apparently there's a new tax office, but I still have to go to my accountant, which is next door to the old tax office. So he takes me there, and he knows how to get there. So, and when I get to the old tax office is not the new tax office. You got to remember, there's an old tax office and a new tax office. So this is what you got to go through. I'm trying to make you people understand that, yes, 100% the driver knew where the tax office was, but they changed where the tax office was without telling anybody. So I don't know. I don't know this. So I go to the old tax office. My accountant is next door, and oh, by the way, if you don't have your TIN, TIN, if you don't have your TIN number, hey Philip, waiting for your car to be repaired. Well, thanks for stopping by in the meantime, Philip. So if you don't have your TIN number, TIN, it's a number that's assigned to you from the BIR. Let's say you go to your accountant, my accountant. I don't know about your accountant. Well, you probably don't have an accountant, but let's say you go. If I go to my accountant and I say, I want to pay my taxes, they'll ask you for your TIN number. So what I have is always, I have this. I bring my paperwork from the previous tax revenue papers. So I said, I don't have my tax number a long time ago. This is not even yesterday, a long time ago. And they said, "Sir, we can't do your taxes without your TIN number." So I said, "Just look up my name in the computer." "No, sir, it doesn't work like that." I said, "So if you put my name in the computer, in your store, that you've been doing my taxes for 2 years, my name won't show up in your computer?" "No, sir." That in and of itself makes me wonder about how anything gets done in the Philippines, because a search in the left-hand type in your search box should bring you right to my name and my tax forms, but it doesn't. And why, I don't know. Tax ID number, that's correct, Philip. So I had to go home, and I went back another day with my TIN number. So you can take a picture of it with your phone if you like. That's no problem, as long as they have the number. But why they can't pull me up in their computer after 2 years, that's problematic for me to understand why they can't find me in their computer. They know who I am. They know my name. They know I go, but they can't. All right, so moving on. Tax is 3% of your gross. So on top of whatever you pay for your yearly tax on April 15th, it's 3%. Out of stock. By my number, Philip says my number is out of stock. So imagine, Philip, if they said your number's out of stock at the tax office. So I get my taxes done. Then I go next door. And I look, the tax office is the door's open, but there's no guard. Well, there may have been a guard, but I didn't see a guard. But I walk right up to the door, and now the door is open. Open. The door's open, right? And you can't see. There's no signage saying the tax office moved. Nothing like that. There's no notice. It's just not no one's there. So on on the wall is a piece of paper, loose leaf paper, not even a standard 8.5 by 13. This is a piece of loose leaf paper, one sheet on the door that's still closed that says in handwriting in printable ink, like you take a ballpoint pen and write it with a ballpoint pen. Yeah. I'm going to write down new tax office located at Holy Spirit School, period. It says on Old Road. That's it. But it's in handwriting. No one, you can't see it until you're about, 36 inches away. You gotta read a ballpoint pen in like 3/4 inch letters to know where the school is. So how they get anything done here? They have no understanding. Somebody should have made a placard a year ago and put it on the wall when you walk in. It says our tax office will, apparently it closed since April 20, May, June, so April 21st, it closed since then, but no notice. So I get to I write it down, and then I got to get another tricycle driver, which is okay because it's only 15 pesos. And it's not far. The accountant said it's not far, the new office. But the accountant didn't know where the new tax office was. So for 30 years, the accountant office is 6.5 inches away from the BIR tax office, but they didn't know where the new tax office moved. How do they do business here? But there was a girl in the tax office that did know, and she shouted it out through the glass window, Holy Spirit. And I thought she was dying. I thought she was dying. I thought maybe she was going to heaven, and she saw the Holy Spirit. So I said, Holy Spirit? She goes, Holy Spirit, sir, the Holy Spirit. So I blessed her and I left. I can't. This is beyond absurd. So I already knew the place was gone. So now I get into a trike, and the fella, the tricycle driver, knew where the new place was. He knew where it was. He knew exactly where it was. I said, the new tax office? Yes, sir. He took me right there. And you walk in, it's a beautiful place. Oh, God, it's a beautiful place. And that's right, Philip. See, now this is the part of YouTube that people don't understand. When we as foreigners, and now Philip, Janik, and I agree 100%, we are 100% in agreement that Filipinos will always give you an answer. Doesn't matter if they know what the answer is. They will give you an answer, believing that it's better to give you an answer than to show somebody they didn't know what you asked, the question. They pretend. So if you were to say, and I'll use this as an example because it happened, I wish to go to the jeepney station. Now I'm looking at the jeepney station about 300 feet behind the person I'm asking. I'm looking at the jeepneys. That person heard the word jeepney station, pointed this way, and said 5 blocks, this way. 5 blocks jeepney station. But there is no jeepney station 5 blocks that way. There is one jeepney station that I'm looking at directly behind the man, about 300 feet away. But he didn't know the answer. So he said, 5 blocks that way, jeepney station. So he did not understand the question, because I will tell you there's no jeepney station 5 blocks that way. Hey, George. My day is going good, George. George, handsome man. He met Brad Pitt and George Clooney. He didn't just meet them. They lived on site of George's house for 3 days. And George's mom got a kiss from George Clooney and Brad Pitt. George got to hang out with them. When they were not like go out for drinks or anything, but in George's living room when they were discussing a film that they were making, George got to hang out with them. That was pretty cool, George. And George just came back from seeing the Great Pyramids in Egypt and the ruins surrounding the Great Pyramids. Now that's a guy, that's a man's man, George. I could tell you a story about George, but then I would have to rate this video. I'd lose my monetization. But George, he was the kind of man a woman wanted to be with. And they made no bones about it. They used to stand in front of his house, and George had one of those machines that you get at the bakery that hands out the numbers. Handsome George. That's true. They used to wait outside his house, and he would hand them a number. Thanks for stopping by, George. Mentally challenging, says Philip Janik. So now I'm not kidding about George. Just came back from Egypt, the pyramids. We're going to talk about Philip Janik's comment in a moment. And I'm not kidding about George Clooney. They, which is right by my house in New York, they spent, well, there was more than 50 people on site. They had snow blowing making machines. They had food trucks, food vendors, crane boom lifts. They spent 3.5 days setting it up, 3.5 days shooting it, if I remember correctly, from talking with George a few months back. And for those, and then they had to break all the equipment down. They had cables running over the new bridge and for everything. And for those, all that equipment, men and horsepower, so to speak, they filmed about 2.5 minutes of the movie. But George, and funny thing is, true, the person who I had in my video yesterday in my premiere, Tom, and his wife, Kathy, Tom is the person who George's mother bought that house from. So that's pretty strange in and of itself. So Tom and I grew up across the street from one another, and that was the person we were talking about. Tom had a boat when he was 5 years old, with a motor on it called the Wipeout. So that house that Tom lived in and grew up in and that I played in is George's house now. And funny that I did a live stream yesterday with Tom. I've never done a live stream with Tom in it at all, ever. So that's more than, that's a psychic experience. The connection is there. On a psychic level, the chances of something like that happening could be in the billions. That why am I talking about Tom, who grew up in the house across the street from me, after never talking about him for 20 years, and then George, after not being online for several months, just appears within 24 hours. That's what they call, what Freud would, Carl Jung coined the term synchronistic event. When two events happen synchronistically, out of a billion things that could have happened. I spoke about Tom, and he was in a video, and then the person who bought his house is in the video the very next day. After 20 years, hold on a minute. Hello? Oh, okay. Not for me. Okay, so that's more than a coincidence. That's a synchronistic event. And that's true. So Eclectic TV, what's the name of the movie? I don't know. You'd have to ask George that. You could probably Google. You could probably Google George Clooney, Brad Pitt new movie. I could do that for you. Hold on a minute. George. I have nothing but problems with this. George Clooney, Brad. You know, you could do this too, Eclectic TV. It's not like Google is only. I'm the only person allowed to make a Google inquiry. But you people, in general, you're a very, very lazy group of people on the internet. You like to be spoon-fed information. Brand new movie. So, Wolves, Wolves. Wolves is the name of the movie. Okay, hold on. Let me get back here. I'll post that in the comments section. The butterfly effect. Yeah, that's another name for it. Also, Philip, I'll give you the link so you can look that up. I don't think the movie's out yet. Yeah, I should. I didn't bring up the movie. I brought up my friend George and George Clooney. Do you think I should know every single piece of information because I go off topic for a minute and you could have done it yourself and posted it. Don't blame me because you're too lazy to look up a link. And don't come back if you don't like what I just said. That's okay too. Because I didn't bring up the movie. I brought up my friend George. Someone was making the movie in his house. You have the ability to twist the truth around. So because I get sidetracked talking to my friend of since birth, and I mention a movie, then I'm supposed to know every detail to every movie of everything that happened. You people are a trip, man. Why don't you put $5,000 or $6,000 in super chat on the board? And I'll tell you what, before I make a video, every time I decide that I'm going to talk about something, I'll have links presented for the video. Put 5,000 in super chat on the board, and tomorrow's video I'll have 100 links to my topic matter. Or just go away and say thanks for the information about the name of the movie being Wolves. You're not going to come on my channel and make me the bad guy or the wrong guy because you're too lazy to Google the name of the movie. Don't do that to me. It's not going to happen. Okay, you're history, dude. Somebody make that man history. I'll make you history. I'm not going to argue with you about this either. This is my channel. I do what I want. You're out of here. Hide user on this channel. Okay, I know your name too. I know you've been a long-term subscriber. You're not going to twist things up to make me look like a fool on YouTube. I can do that all by myself. You want to be right? You be right. Adios. Have a nice day. Thanks, Scott. You people are a trip, man. Let's get this straight right now. Anybody that reviews the video that I just made saw that I got sidetracked by talking to my friend about a movie. Do I know every detail of the movie? I never even asked George the name of the movie. And if I did, I don't remember. It was several months ago. And you make it my problem? You, Eclectic TV, I've known your name for years. You don't super chat me. You don't buy a subscription to my page. I have a praying mantis on my shoulder, baby. That's good luck. You don't do anything for me that I owe you something, and I certainly don't owe you. I don't owe you an apology. Look at that praying mantis right on my, hanging out on my hat now. That's pretty cool. I don't owe you anything, dude. I don't owe any of you people anything. I do this because it's fun for me to do. You're going to come on my channel and mock that I'm supposed to know every piece of information of everything that I talk about, everything. Go away, man. Just go away. And Richie Buong, here's a notice to you, because I know you're going to grab that soundbite. The next time you post anything that's on my channel, I'm going to change my mind about whether or not I'm going to let you use my my content on your channel. From everything that was done before today is okay. Anything done after today, I'm going to flag it as copyrighted material, because you are a sarcastic, nasty, mean, low-life individual that has nothing to do but bring up my name anywhere you go and make fun of something that I do. You are a nothing in the YouTube community, other than your ability to edit videos, other than your ability to be sarcastic. You are an unaccomplished man in life. I've proven that 6 ways from Sunday. You, Richie, have nothing to contribute to society at all, other than your sarcasm and hatred. So don't use my stuff on your channel anymore. I'll make sure I push the copyright button on every video I do, just because of something you said the other day on the channel. You like making fun of me? Everything prior to July 18th, July 17th, 2023, knock yourself out. Anything after that, I'm going to flag it, because you are one nasty, angry, sarcastic little man who's never shown anybody anything that you've ever done. Unaccomplished doesn't even begin to talk about Richie Buong. Unaccomplished is way too much of a superior place to put Richie Buong. Richie Buong has never done anything in his entire life that he can show you that's worthwhile, other than his sarcastic, mean, and demeaning videos. So you, Richie, are 100% persona non grata on my channel. I've been reading through some of the comments that you made over the last few weeks. Stay away from my channel and don't use my material. Thank you. I don't know where that praying mantis went. He was on my hat. You are one mean, sadistic little man, Richie. Go ahead. Use that as a soundbite, and I'm going to call copyright on you. I don't know where the praying mantis went. Probably went someplace. You and Eclectic TV, like I need you guys on my channel. Unbelievable, the things that Richie Buong says about me. And another sarcastic little thing that Richie does. You think you're funny, Richie. You should be grateful that I haven't flagged every one of your videos. Every video that Richie Buong goes on, every time, every day, on every channel, he mentions Fazio's barge. Well, Oh, you never owned a barge. Fazio owned the barge. That's right, Richie. More responsibility than you could ever begin to comprehend. Owning, buying the barge, bringing the barge back from Michigan, running the barge, insuring the barge and the crane and the company that was associated with the barge, and then making sure the men had workmen's compensation or were somehow covered by insurance in case I clipped them in half. That is a big responsibility. And you make it like it's a big joke to that moron, Dunce, D-U-N period C, Dunce. You got to say something nasty every time, Richie, because you're a mean, sadistic, unaccomplished little man. That's what you are. That's all you'll ever amount to. And the next time I see you make another video using my material from this day forward, I'm going to flag it as a copyright. I'm telling you now, I'm taking permission away. Anything you got up on your channel prior to July 17, 2023, I'll leave it alone. Anything you do from this day forward, my material, I'm going to flag it. You sadistic, angry little man is what you are. Unaccomplished doesn't even begin. You stay in bars. You were next to a woman. You didn't even know how to put your arm around the woman. You had to put a chokehold on the woman to kiss her on the cheek. That's how little she wanted to do with you. And anybody else for a small sum of money could have bought her a drink and had a conversation with her. She wanted nothing to do with you. They know right away what kind of people that you're an introvert, a shut-in, a closet case. She knew that right away. Women that hang out in bars are very apt and very, very, very understanding as to what type of people they want to talk to and what type of people they don't want to talk to. That woman wanted nothing to do with you. You had to put a headlock on her to kiss her on the cheek because she saw right away that you're I don't know, whatever you are, it's not the kind of man that anyone, even that woman, you could have bought her a drink and she would have talked to you all night. She wanted nothing to do with you, dude. Even though she may have even been compensated to make that part of the video. You can't even talk to a woman and you make fun of me. You can't. You've never owned anything, and you make fun of me. You've never show us your race car. Show us your boat. Show us your $1 million house. Show us anything that you've ever done, and you never have. You never have shown anything, and you people love his comedy. Warning, Rich. Everything from this day forward that has me or my name in it, I'm flagging for copyright material. You are nothing more than someone that likes to instigate other people. My name won't even come up for an hour on a show, and then you bring it up. Yeah, but did you? Don C will be making a comment. He won't be talking about me, and then you'll interject. Oh yeah, but did you own a barge? Fazio owned the barge. That's right. More responsibility than anybody on YouTube could ever imagine. But did you own a house in Key Largo? Yeah, it was. You see my house in Key Largo. It was beautiful. What do you own, Rich? I imagine you in an apartment with blacked out windows. What did you own, Rich? Show us something that you've done. Nothing have you ever done except make fun of other people. So there'll be a video up. They'll be talking about something. Richie Bullon comes on and says, oh yeah, but do you have diapers? Fazio has diapers. Well, yeah, that's right. I wore diapers after my inguinal hernia. So did every other human being that's ever had an inguinal hernia. But you have to bring it up as if it's some sort of demeaning thing. Your buddy had a hernia. I'm sure he had to wear a diaper. They put one on you when they operate on you, but you make fun of it. Like, what is there to make fun of? A man has an operation or a woman has an operation. They're not going to be able to get to the bathroom for a day or two, maybe. because of the pain. They put a diaper on you. You use the diaper, and then you're done. You're done using the diaper. Could be a day, could be 3 or 4 days, but then it's over. Then you go to the bathroom on your own. But you have to make it like it's a big deal, Richard, because you are an unaccomplished, little, angry, selfish, narcissistic. And if I continue saying those words, the video will get flagged. You're a nothing in this world, Rich. You should be grateful I don't go back and flag every single video with me in it. One word from you, one more word from you on anybody's channel bringing up my name, and maybe I'll just go that route. Maybe I'll just start backtracking. You've got nothing else to do with your miserable little life other than to attack me, someone that has fed and supplied hundreds of people's families with monies for Christmas, for Easter, for holidays, for birthdays. Hundreds of people made a paycheck because of me in my lifetime. What have you ever done, Rich? Nothing. Thousands of people in one way or another through their families and through presents and through Christmas gifts and through monies for the church and thousands of people over the course of my lifetime have benefited because I put it all on the line to get a job done or to make a business or to make somebody money. And you've done nothing and you make fun of me? You're a nothing, Rich. Remember that. And don't you ever mention my name in a comment again, or maybe I'll just start backtracking and copyright every video that's on every one of your videos. You mention my name again, go ahead, mention my name. You do it sarcastically too. The great Fazio, he owned the barge. That's going to get flagged. That's going to make me flag your video. Okay? Now, there's a nice soundbite, but you can't use it because I'm going to strike your channel. Punk that you are. And every one of your friends is a punk, useless, a thief, or a fraud. Every one of your friends is one of those four things. Now we'll go back to my regularly scheduled program. Talking about the synchronistic event from Carl Jung. Carl Jung was Freud's student for several years. Well, that's what they say, but there was less communication between Carl Jung and Freud than what is stated, but they knew each other and they threw ideas back at one another. Carl Jung was more into the mystical experience of psychology and parapsychology, and Freud was more into the libido aspect of that. Everything was based around a man's libido or a woman's libido. So they have come from two different philosophical backgrounds, but they both had ideas that worked in conjunction with one another. But also Freud got a lot of his ideas, and this is true, and it's possible. Sigmund Freud was addicted to cocaine his entire adult life, and he did a lot of it. Now, this is when it was legal. Cocaine used to be legal, even in America, up until it could have been the 50s or the 60s. So they made it illegal. But when Sigmund Freud got really high on cocaine, he used to write. And he would write down his thesis on a topic. That's true. So a lot of what Sigmund Freud wrote about had to do with reality, but his ability to write about reality was due to his being high on cocaine. Carl Jung did not, as to my knowledge, do cocaine, and he coined a term called synchronistic event. There's a song by not the Cars, but U2, I think it is, synchronicity, and that has a little bit to do with Carl Jung's contemplation of what a synchronistic event is. So that happened between George and myself and Tom Austin. The video from yesterday, that Tommy was my childhood friend that grew up in George's house, and I haven't talked about Tommy. Well, I made that video back in 2005, I guess it was, maybe that thereabouts, so 20 years ago. I haven't talked about Tom ever. I have other friends named Tommy, two more. Them I talked about. So by me talking about Tommy that lived in George's house and George coming on today, that was a synchronistic event in and of itself. Even if George saw the video and realized that Tom was the person that lived in his house, George doesn't watch all my videos. So that brought everything together, and that's what that was about. Philip, nobody knows everything. They are just trying to bust my chops. That's right. That's what Eclectic TV was doing. And I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Eclectic TV, you make your own videos. Make a video today, Eclectic TV. Make a video degrading me. Go ahead and do it. I don't care. Go ahead and say he blocked me because I asked him a question. No, I blocked you because you accused me of having to supposedly know every piece of information about every aspect. I blocked you because you were knocking me down, and you don't get that right to knock me down on my channel. And no one else does either. This is my channel. I run it the way I want. Unless you people want information, I could, you know what I could have did today? I could have did a video about how to save hundreds of people that live in the Philippines, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on how to and where to buy medicine. And I woke up this morning and I said, I just looked at my last 5 live streams. I think I got 2 super chats, one for $10 and one for 20. I said to myself, I do this for nothing. No one sends a super chat. Why should I give them information? And this I'm being serious about. Why should I help you people? Say maybe somebody buys $5,000 worth of medicine a year. Why should I tell you how to buy that for $3,000? Unless I'm compensated for my knowledge. You go to a doctor, he gets compensated for his knowledge. You call up a lawyer and ask him a question, he gets compensated for his knowledge. You go to an accountant and ask them, if they can service your paperwork for this year. They charge you for that half hour. Why should I do it for free? And when I looked at what I earned on Super Chat in the last month, I said to myself, I'm not giving these people information that will help them financially. They're not doing. Yet you'll give Barry money, and I want you to give Barry money. I want you to continue giving Barry money, because that just shows how stupid you are. That's okay to give Barry money. And it's okay that you gave him money. And it's okay that you continue to give him money. But you don't give me money, and I put actual content up on YouTube. All he does is give you somebody to laugh at. And Eclectic TV, you're not going to get the opportunity to laugh at me on my channel. And Richie Buwang, that what you do, that gratuity that I gave you to let you make fun of me using my clips is over. It's gone. It's not coming back. I want to flag every single time I see a comment on your channel. I'm going to flag the video, another video about me. So mention my name, mention diapers, mention the great Fazio, mention Fazio on the barge, mention Fazio owned the Cobra, mention Fazio owned the house in Key Largo, mention Fazio owned an Ocean Racer, and not just sarcastic, just mention it to bring up my name on somebody else's live stream so that they can say something stupid, and I'm going to flag one of your videos. That's a promise. Okay? Don't mention my name. Don't bring my name up in good or bad ways. Don't bring my name up in other people's live stream at all ever again. You've been warned. Hey, Bill, you know, I really should have let that fella go. But he figured out a way to get in here. I'm sure he'll figure out a way to get back. And later, I'll open up the window and the door, and he'll figure out how to get out. They know where the fresh air is coming from. Hold on a minute. I gotta talk to somebody that's outside. Hold on a minute when he gets here. So you people, you're not coming to my channel and abusing me. You're not. It's not going to happen. Actually, Jim Canorius? No, I have not. I have never heard of that person's radio show. I'll check it out. Hold on a minute. I gotta tell somebody something. Wapo, where are you? Over here. Over here. Wapo, over here. Oh, okay. You home for lunch? I'll see you in an hour. Okay. Yeah, you people, you got the you have me mistaken with somebody else. You have me mistaken with some schlep from another channel. You're not coming to my channel and abusing me. It's not going to happen. And that Richie Buong after, you know, I want to tell you something else, Rick. I felt sorry for you that you're such a sad little excuse for a human being. You have no ability to communicate with women at all. Nothing, zero. You were talking to a bar girl and you wanted to kiss her. She knew you wanted to kiss her and she pulled away from you, walked away from you, edged herself away from you as far as she could from the camera. And then you put a headlock on the girl. Literally, you put a headlock on the girl and kissed her on the cheek because she wanted nothing to do with you. Especially women that are all around women, let's say, night women that hang out in discotheques and bars. They have a feel for people they don't want to have anything to do with. That woman wanted nothing to do with you. Not only that, you let somebody expose you, intentionally expose you, and you took it as an accident. And if you look at the video and you look at people's videos with meticulously, you look at every detail of a video, you were intentionally exposed to the world when you wanted to remain a private citizen with no face on the video. Go watch that video again. I have it. You were intentionally exposed. And it didn't really matter because it was too late when it happened and, to start an argument with somebody at that point. But that was not an accident, and you took it on the chin. You're a good man, Rich. You let somebody expose you after you made it clear you didn't want to be exposed, and then you took it really well, all things considered. I see you thinking about it. You're a sad excuse for a human being, Rich. You are a sad excuse. Never accomplished anything in your life, have nothing to show for it. No car, no boat, no house on the water, no racer, no heavy equipment, no barge, no crane, no pile driver, no backhoe, no bobcat, no drill rig, no dump truck trailers, nothing. You have nothing. And you make fun of me? Don't do it again. Don't bring my name up again. You think I'm kidding? I will figure out how to flag a video, and I'll spend all day flagging your videos. Bring up my name one more time on any person's channel, and you have been warned. Jim Canorius. I did not, Jim. We're gonna. Why don't we? Why don't we get? Why don't we get that name up on? Let me check out Jim Canorius. Put the name of the channel on there, please, and I'll put it up on my board to take a look at it. Thank you. I'm having trouble here on my. Hold on a minute. I'm having trouble here. All right, let's. I can't get my chat to work on the computer. Scott Del Fuego says. Bill says, the prey, that was a big praying mantis too. I like those. I should have put them on my hand. They'll stay on your hand because it's warm. Bill says they're the strongest insect, power to weight. Bill says hello, Scott. Scott says they try to humiliate and make fun of everything that you do, me, because stretching the mind to consider the unknown is harder than drinking, mongering, and Lima bravoing. Yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, and that's another thing, Rich. You condone every weird lifestyle that there is in this world because you, Rich, in my opinion, are a lot stranger. The word strange, word weird, I used incorrectly. You are a much more strange individual than even the people you make videos about. Strange is not a good thing, by the way. You are strange. Some people are weird. If you looked up the definition of the word weird, it's almost a compliment. But strange is not. And you, Rich Buong, are a strange individual, in my opinion. You're not going to come. I'm not going to allow it to happen anymore. I saw a comment that you made. I copied it. I forgot what it was, but you're not coming. No more from you, Rich. Get that through your head. I'll go back and flag. Every time I see a comment from you with my name in it, I'm going to flag something. Every time. Bill says it's all he has. That's all. That's right. That's all he has. But the sarcastic comment that he made about me the other day, and that he has to bring up Daisy about a month ago, and the diapers, and then going back and forth with that other guy, how many times I used it. You're a disgusting, despicable man. Little man, Rich. Little man, little man, little man, little man. And you know what a little man is. You are a little man, not in size. You make fun of everybody. Have you ever looked in the mirror? Have you ever given any thought to what you've accomplished in your life? Nothing. Because I asked you to start showing us stuff that you've done so I would not knock you. I said, why don't you show us something that you've done and I'll let it go. I felt sorry for you at first, but you don't know when to stop. I'll stop you. I promise. Bill says that's all he has. He looks like a young Uncle Festa. He does. Okay, so next comment, Philip. Rich is far from a little man. He's a huge guy. I saw him on a stream. They tricked him. Right, Philip, see, you're very astute. That's a good word. Watch how Richie was intentionally set up to expose what he looks like. Philip knows. I could give you the timestamp on the video I have copied, but watch how the camera was set down on the bar. Then the camera was checked to make sure the camera was on and facing the mirror. That was double checked again. And then Richie was ushered in to just right of the camera and was looking down at his camera, not paying attention to the camera that was placed on the bar. And then the camera that was placed on the bar had a 30-second delay from Richie's camera on his live stream that was on his handheld camera. And 30 seconds after Richie walked up to the bar and was looking at the live stream on his phone, he saw his face in the mirror. That's how that happened. That's meticulously thought out. You didn't know you were being live streamed until about 30 seconds later, and then you were looking at your camera. Then you looked up at the mirror and saw you were being live streamed. Then you walked over and looked at the camera. You got set up, Rich. You were set up by your buddy, by your friend. How is the leg? The leg is doing much better. I had 3 wounds on my leg going back before the operation. And in April, could have been March, they gave me this product here, ciprofloxacin. They gave me this product in March, I think it was. 1 dose, one 7-day dose. And the wound in the front of the leg, 95% gone. The wound on the side of the leg, 90% gone. And the wound in the back of the leg, probably reduced by about 20%, 25% from what it was since March. So I went to the hospital yesterday afternoon, and I spoke with the doctor that did my surgery. And of course, you have to wait several hours, and I did some other stuff during the course of the day. I signed into the hospital at 10:15, and then I went to the tax office. I went to ICM. I paid the globe bill, the electric bill. Then I went back to the hospital, and then I had to wait till 1:30 for them to come back from lunch. And then by 3:30, I was out of the hospital with the medicine. The doctor looked at the leg. He was very happy with the results from the last dose. And he gave me a dose this time for 10 days for ciprofloxacin, 2 500 milligram tablets a day for 10 days. I think that will clear up the one in the front and the one on to the corner of the leg, the front quarter, and the one in the back will be a little bit better. I think if I was to have 2 doses, I think I could probably clear up the wound in the back as well, and I could get another script. So I may do that. I'll see what it looks like in 8 days from now, because already from yesterday my leg was swelled up. My calf muscle was 20. My calf muscle was swelled up. This is a problem. 23 inches. 23 inches. That's 2 inches more than it ever was before, because I ate something called oyster sauce, and it has something in it that I'm really allergic to. So let me show you what 23 inches looks like. This is how big my calf muscle was. Yes, not yesterday, but the night before yesterday morning. So 36 hours ago, my calf muscle was this big. It should be this big, where my hand can open up. That's how big. That's 17 inches. That's the calf muscle's normal size. It was 5 inches bigger. It was this big. And that was from, I put oyster sauce in something, my mistake, to use that stuff. I know it makes my legs swell up, but I made another mistake. It was late at night, and when I poured the oyster sauce out of the bottle, instead of like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, in a cup of rice. It wasn't rice, egg noodles, but like a cup of rice, about the same size as one cup of rice. It spilled in. I don't know how much went in, probably 5 or 6 tablespoons. And I ate that batch at about 8 o'clock at night. And by 11 o'clock, my leg was this big. So it also raised my blood pressure up over 180 in about 15 minutes. So that stuff, I could I could put a few drops of it in for flavor, but I made a mistake. But thanks for asking. The leg is getting better. Bill says, sad for a young guy. He's not quite the picture of health. No, and not only that, but who is he to make fun of everybody that he comes in contact with? After looking at him, you would think that he was, well, I know what he is. He's a shut in, he's a recluse with nothing going for him in his life at all, zero, other than his comedy. And I'm taking that away from you as far as my videos are concerned. You will not mention my name again in a comment section, or I will flag the video, which is my prerogative. In fact, what I'm going to do is go through my videos and I'll copyright them, all of them. I'll just go through them one at a time. And then you use my stuff. That's your problem, not mine. Of course, you won't get a strike. You'll just get a copyright notice. Don't use my stuff anymore. Your privilege has been taken away. Philip Janik laughs. He's not quite the picture of health, says Bill. He's not. He's got no right making fun of me. For my age, okay, I have this problem with my leg. And I also have an issue that wasn't able to move around since a month and a half before the operation, several months really. They didn't want me to go around because the hernia was so bad. And then for 2 months afterwards, they just said, sit in your chair. And I did that. I sat in my chair for 2 months. I didn't do any work. The heaviest thing I picked up was a gallon of water. So right now I'm getting back into shape. But I tell you what, Rich, right now, any money that you have saved, anything you own, anything you have in your possession, I will wager you what you have against what I possess in life, that I can outswim you hands down. No problem. So we're going to start at swimming 2 miles. So if you can't swim 2 miles, then don't take the challenge. And then I'll let you post any video that you want if you can swim, if you can keep up with me. So you want to make fun of me? But looking at you, you're a picture of not health. Freaking. You people come on here all the time. You come and break my chops. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. He should try Subway. Worked for Jared. The guy who owns Subway, his name is Jared, no? No, Subway was owned by Gus, the guy I worked for. I don't know who Jared is. Okay. Bill, she recognized the low value man. Bill, that's right. That women that work and stay in nightclubs and bars, they know right away. Just by the way you approach them, they know. It's streetwise, especially women that work in bars. They can nail you right down to the cross. They know who's going to buy them a drink, who's going to buy them multiple drinks. They know how to schmooze you. You're a nothing in the world of nightlife, Rich. Put on your backpack, throw out your roadmap. Has Rich Boang ever held a decent job? I don't know. But he doesn't. I asked him to show us what he did. And I just show us what you've done. Being that you want to make fun of everybody else, show us that you're more than what the people that you make fun of. Not that that gives you a right to make fun of them. But when you have nothing to show for what you are, take Barry, for example. Now, Barry's not a good example because Barry doesn't do what he does intentionally. He does it out of ignorance. Barry is in the position that he's in because of ignorance. He was given fair warning by, and I'm gonna go into Barry. I'll go into Barry right now. Not to knock him down, though. I'm not. That's not my intention. I warned Barry 2 years ago. He knows this. He admitted it. I said to Barry, "Look, not in chat. Not. I called him up on Facebook, and I told him, Barry, what you're doing is illegal by putting your face in the video and then stating a person's name and where they live, and then saying my name is Barry Jordan and I said that." I told him, don't do that. Don't do it. And he said, nobody tells me what to do. Now, multiple times I asked him to stop. And I told him, asked him, explained to him that it's against the law. Multiple times I did that. It's not once, not twice, but 10, 15 times. Then when I was attacked, he thought that was funny. Okay, and he said, whenever I feel sad, I put that video of Fazio being attacked and I laugh so hard I fall down on the ground. He thinks that's funny. So what I'm going to ask people to do now is to take the clip off my channel of me being attacked and figure out a way to send it to Barry's Facebook. Let's try to make Barry feel a little better. Now, when I say Barry does this maliciousness is probably not part of Barry's modus operandi. He's probably not as malicious as he is stupid. Okay? So, was I the only person? No. Flying Circus is in the house. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Mike Dowdy. Good sound. Good morning. Just tuning in. Philip Janik. Everyone likes picking at you, Michael, because they have nothing better to do. A joke is okay, but running them into the ground is not. Yes, thank you, Philip. Thank you very much, Philip. And Philip is a whole different type of individual as well. Philip is a self-made man. He owned a business that he started and owned and operated, a cab service, if I remember correctly. And so he has the incentive, alpha male incentive. Let me go out and start an enterprise, a business. Moving back to Barry. Barry, the advice that you got from John Blaze, that was my advice to you through John. I told John, when I didn't want to talk about Barry Jordan, I told John, let me tell you something, John, because John and I we're friends. I said to John, if I was Barry, and I'm not, I would figure out a way to save some money and buy a jet ski. And I'm not kidding about this. And put 40 or 50 gallons of gasoline on that jet ski and figure out a way to get out of the Philippines and maybe to another country where he can use his passport to go back to America. That was not John Blaze's idea. That was my idea, okay? Because I told Barry if charges are put against him, they are legitimate charges. He's not going to talk his way out of it. So the idea that John Blaze put out, that was my idea. And you should have took that option. Because that was your only way out of this without going to a trial and without going to jail. And now it looks like you're going to do both. So I tried to help Barry more than anybody else in this entire community. I told him what the law was, because I know the law. I told him what he was doing was against the law. And I told him what he's doing, he could be prosecuted for. And he told me, Nobody tells me what to do. I said, okay. Then I stopped giving him advice when he made fun that I was attacked from behind. And he made fun of that. Oh, I laughed so hard. I was watching that live. I laughed so hard I fell down on the floor laughing. I was laughing my butt off. Hey, Barry, here's what I want to do for you. I want somebody, and I'll give anybody permission to take that video where I was attacked, put it on a clip, and bring it to your detention center, and you can watch it. And I'll boost your spirits because you were warned. And if that's what makes you, if that little video clip makes you feel so much better, because he said it in a live stream. Whenever I'm upset or whenever I'm sad or whenever I'm happy, I just watch that video clip of Fazio getting beat down, and then I feel better. So Barry, I'm giving anybody permission to give you that clip in your detention cell so that I'm trying to help you again. I'm trying to make you feel good. But you should have took my advice. Now you know better. And even when he was in detention a few months back, I said to Barry in a comment, I said, Barry, I told you that you were going to end up in trouble. And Barry said in the detention center, the arrogance of Barry Jordan rose up higher than any arrogance level that I've ever seen before. He's behind bars, and I told him that he should have taken my advice. I told you don't do this. His response was, no man tells me what to do. I'm my own boss. And I never gave him advice again. I never mentioned him in a negative way. And I'm not mentioning him in a negative way today. I think if this is what makes Barry happy, to take a video clip of me getting beat down from behind, if that's what makes Barry happy, somebody loop it and bring it into Barry to raise his spirit level. I'm serious about that. Mike Dowdy says the Dangerous Drug Act of 1920. 1920. Outlawed coke. I thought it was much later than that. Well, you know what I'm thinking, Mike? I think that coca or the cocoa leaf product was allowed in soda until the 60s. But you could be right about the Drug Act of 1920. It might have been the coke products, the cocaine products in soda. Flying Circus. The channel is like a person's home. You don't put your feet on the coffee table. There you go. Hey, buddy, that was quite the video you posted this morning. 16 minutes and 3 seconds. Fred, you got a rent. Where is Fred? Where did he go? What about Scott? Flying Circus. Where did that other fella go? Fred. Did I see somebody named Fred on my channel? All right, well, whatever. A channel is like a person's home. How come you don't have a wrench? Oh, you don't have a wrench because you took it away. You didn't want one. Okay, I remember. No, Jim Canarosa, you can feel free. You booted Fred. Oh, you do have a wrench. Okay, I know I saw Fred somewhere. Okay, you want to post the link to your channel so they could watch that great video. 16 minutes and 3 seconds. Flying Circus he's on his way to becoming an alpha male. Alpha male videos are 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 45 minutes. He's on his way. If you want to post the link to your video, you're welcome to do that. Please do. Reminds me of a non-kiss at a birthday party. Somebody. Mike. Ah, uh, Philip Janet, correct, Michael. They got him. No, they got him. I am not the only person that told him to stop. Only I'm not his friend. I'm not his friend. A few years back, I gave him $5, $10, but I'm not his friend. I could never have Barry as a friend. I mean, there has to be a commonality between friends. Like that fella Bill and I that know each other for 8 years. He came to visit me. He's coming back, and we're going to go out on a day trip snorkeling out on the reef. Okay. Now, Bill and I have hundreds of things in common. Um, but Barry and I have nothing in common. But doesn't mean I would want to hurt him, and I don't mean to hurt him now. I really wish he would have took my advice, and then we could still have Barry making us laugh on YouTube because he was funny in that sense of the word. But that's what happened. So Philip says, "You're right, Michael. They got him." Mike Dowdy. I didn't picture him as a young Mike. He's talking about Richie. I didn't picture him as a young fat kid. Yes, that's true. Um, all right. So Jim Canarius, can you get that name of that channel? Can you put the name of that channel up on my channel, and I'll open up a link for that, and I'll check it out later. More chins than a Bayesian phone back. Richie Buong has more chins than a Bayesian. The only person that has, well, there's one guy on YouTube that gives Barry a lot of money. He has got no chin. He's got chest to lips. He's got a turkey waddle. That guy, he's got no chin at all. The waddle goes from his lower lip right down to his chest, more than Richie. Richie has something to look forward to in a few years. Antarctica being an ice wall surrounding Earth. No, well, Jim, I followed the flat Earth. I've actually known about the flat Earth since I was 17, but I never realized the implications of the flat Earth. Um, to put it mildly, the ocean is 3,500 miles from San Diego to the Philippines, and that's perfectly flat. There should be miles of curvature. So the Earth is flat. That in and of itself, water seeks its own level. That in and of itself proves that. As far as the ice wall is concerned, every direction that you go in, no matter what direction it is, brings you to the ice wall. So when you go north or south, when you go south to Antarctica and you reach the ice wall, I think it was Captain Cook that spent 3 years. He got to the ice wall and made a right. And he spent 3 years and traveled 67,500 miles and ended up back where he began at his original starting point. So the Earth's circumference is only 24,000 and change, 25,000. So he traveled 2 2/3 the distance of the circumference of the Earth and ended up back where he started. So the ice wall pretty much is very big. Whether it's surrounds the whole Earth, it sure appears that it does so in a way that's not easily comprehended. I would suggest, Jim, that you look up a video called 200 Proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. 200 Proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. And then there are experiments in there which prove the Earth is flat, from going back thousands of years to everyday experiments that you could do today. The Earth is flat. That's my and I know Popeye says this is misleading. Popeye, no offense, Popeye, but Popeye said he was a radar operator. No, he was in charge of radar equipment in the Navy. He was not. He either was not, or maybe he was for a day, but he doesn't know about radar equipment. That I can say unequivocally, because Popeye stated that the Earth is not flat. He was a radar in control of radar and missiles. Okay, missiles he may have been in charge of, but radar he was not, because he said that the reason that radar has a limitation, and it does, radar has a limit, but he said the limitation of radar was because the Earth. Let's get Batman over here. Batman sent me these. He said the Earth radar shooting out this way, the Earth curves down and radar loses its tracking. That's not true. It is certainly not true when Popeye was in the service, even though now they have some what they call over the horizon radar, which is true, but it's nothing more than long range radar, high powered radar. The reason that radar can only pick up an object up to 100 miles from a carrier based radar, and I know I'm right about this. A carrier based radar, aircraft carrier, battleship radar can reach 100, 150 miles maximum and identify the target. There's two things it does. It can reach 150 miles, 100 miles, and identify what the target is. That's how you tell how good radar is. Popeye said that the radar loses its ability to locate a target because it goes over the curvature of the Earth. That's not true. Radar is only limited to the power that's put into the radar antenna. Radar on a ship, 100 to 150 miles maximum. Radar on a military base on land, 300 miles limitation. Nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth. Nowhere in any radar spec book, nowhere, and I've read it all, nowhere in any radar spec book are you ever going to see curvature of the Earth. Never going to see it. It's not part of the process. It only has to do with the power of the antenna. Just like when your phone goes out of cell phone echolocation, it only goes, the tower can only reach 10 miles, 20 miles, and then you lose cell phone communication. Because had that antenna been higher and had more power, you could go 30 miles. Bear in mind, most of these antennas are 600 or 700 feet anyway, the bigger ones. So Popeye's example that the radar loses its ability to track because of the curvature of the Earth, he's wrong about that. He should do a little bit of reading and he will find out that I am right. Of course, I don't want an apology because he's much more of a man than any man could ever hope to be. But he's wrong about why radar loses its power. It has to do with the power that's put into the wave that's amplified out of the transmitter and bounces back is what limits radar, not the curvature of the Earth. Nowhere in any radar will you ever see the word curvature of the Earth as a factor. Nowhere. Doesn't exist. You can't find a book with it in it. Can't find a manual. You can't find a person that knows about radar, which means Popeye knows nothing about radar. Sorry, Popeye. I've been good up until now. But having you contradict me on radar is like you, Popeye, telling me how to operate a boat. No, those two things will never happen. I know more about boats and navigation and and piloting and plotting than you could ever hope to understand. And I have a captain's license to prove it. Talk, talk, talk for all. Talk for all. Thanks for the leg is improving. Yeah, but hey, talk for all. Oh my God. I almost called you yesterday. I actually had your name on my call list. Wow, that's strange that you should come here today. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Um, if you're still on, let me know if I can. I remember our last conversation. I remember very vividly why you didn't answer the phone. I know why. So if if that if that situation is fixed, let me know, and I'd be happy to talk with you. I love talking with you. That guy, Tack for All, one of the smartest people in the YouTube community by far. Philip Janik says, if CPRO is helping, Michael, a shot of Rosifin will readily speed up the healing. I'm not a doctor, but I know these things. I will. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to open that. I'm going to open that up right now. When this is done, and that's a different product. ROCEPHIN. ROCEPHIN. Rofacin genetic name, Rofacin injection. It belongs to a class of drugs known as cephalosporin antibiotics. It works by stopping the growth of bacteria. The drug is not recommended for use in newborns. Okay, so that doesn't have anything to me. The medication is given by injection into the muscle of the vein. The dosage is based on the medical condition. Okay, so I'm going to leave that up on my screen. And when this ciprofloxacin, Philip, when this ends, I will go back to the doctor. And I try to say hello to them whenever I'm in the city. I'll ask him about that. He will take me without, he will have a conversation with me without having to wait because I'm not going to be treated. And I'll just ask him if it's possible. I was short 3 bubbles at the end, Scott. Sorry about that. Thanks, Philip. I got that on my screen. Nerve damage can affect swelling in the leg also. The infection perhaps caused some nerve damage. Sorry to say. Oh, I'm sure it did that. I am positive it caused nerve damage. The amount of pain that I was in years ago, massive amounts of pain. I explained to people how I had to compensate for the pain. It was not a good thing. I saw the young handsome Fazio on the college swim team. Michael is not a fair wager. Philip, I've always been a swimmer. When we were kids, actually, that fella, Tom, that I had in my premiere yesterday, that fella, Tom, and I grew up since we only lived 100 feet apart. But he was my best friend until we were 14 and he moved 16 and he moved to California. Him and I would, now this got the parents. Him and I would put our swimsuit on, no goggles, no snorkel. And we'd swim down the canal, which is 2,000 feet. And then about, 4,000 feet away is the other side of the bay, roughly 4,000 feet. Then we would swim that distance. Now, you got to understand, we were only 11 or 12 years old. And we would go to what is called Tombstone Beach. And then on the way back, what we would do is we would jump over the fence to the train tracks, and we'd walk back across the trestle, because swimming back was usually just not possible. But we'd play there all day. Whatever playing was to us, lining up 200 bottles and then throwing rocks at them until they were all broke. Stuff like that, you know. And then when we took the boat, we would take the boat there, and we would gather wood for me, Tommy, Vinny, and Joey. Vinny and Joey were our other neighbors, and we would gather wood. Tommy had a boat called Wipeout with a 7.5 Evinrude on it. We would gather wood from 8 o'clock in the morning. We brought food and water, and we would gather wood until like 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'd put it in a pile. And then, you're talking about pieces of old boats, logs, trees, seaweed, sticks, plywood, anything we could. And we put it in a pile, and then we would, back then, there were aerosol cans from the spray paint, hundreds of aerosol cans, hundreds of bottles, thousands on the beach, because people just threw that stuff in the water back then. There was no ecology like there is now. And we would save all the bottles and all the cans separate in a pile next to. Then we would dig in and put a sand bunker in front of us, maybe 40 or 30 or 40 feet away from the pile. And we'd light that up with the wind blowing away from us. And we'd have a bonfire that from 35 or 40 feet, you could not stand up. That's how hot it was. And then we threw the spray cans in the pile. But the bottles, Coke bottles, Fanta bottles, Sprite bottles, the bottles we put in a pile in a piece of wood. And they all melted down into a homogeneous piece of glass. And that would take us hours to 5 hours to gather the wood, and then 2 or 3 hours of throwing stuff at the fire. And that was how we spent our days. And that could be in the winter or the summer, because the boat was in back of his house 24/7, 365. If there wasn't ice on the water, we were allowed to use the boat. I had a good childhood. Mike Dowdy. Philip Janik. Thank you, Philip. Yeah, Richie doesn't have a chance, and none of these people. I heard Dunce, the Dunce, D-U-N-C, the Dunce. I heard him say he could swim. Hey, Dunce, anytime you want to see who could swim further, let me know. We'll go out to the deep, no life jackets. I'll let you wear a snorkel and a mask, no life jackets, and we'll just swim to the end of Dragon Head and back until one of us fails. And there'll be a boat that follows us. Done, see? I think I can swim further than you. Philip Janik. I'm really a Sigma male. Not too many of us out here. No, and Sigma male, I actually have a video up of what a Sigma male is. I don't like talking about a Sigma because that's another step up in, I have it right over here. Where is that? It's in my, what happened to that? Okay, I got to go into my history. Acetylene balloons will make quite the noise. I'll go into my history. I'll just look it up. I actually saw 2 videos on Sigma yesterday. Some of that stuff Okay, this is the one that was really made. This one explains why we, Philip and I, don't don't have or need friends. And I'm going to post this video link 3 times and the name of it. We don't need friends. We keep ourselves occupied with goals and other. We keep ourselves occupied with things that are more important to us. If we don't have a good, lasting, bonding relationship with somebody that we can trust exclusively with our inner thoughts and friendship, the things we share as friends, then we don't want that person in our life. It's not complicated. Sigma males, the definition is a completely different, they're more profound and more separated from reality than alpha males. But I didn't, but then there are other videos that I have of Sigma males and what they represent that I don't agree with.